Hi guys, this is Ali. So today we are going to discuss about database first approach. So in our previous recording session, we have seen that what is entity framework and why we need to go for entity framework, right? And even we have understood that what are the three different types of approaches are there in our entity framework. That is database first approach, code first approach, and model first approach. So this is the session where we are going to discuss only on database first approach. Okay, in our next upcoming recording sessions, we are going to see what is code first approach, what is model first approach. Okay, so here I'm going to explain you only the steps, guys. So regarding like how the code is working for us and how the things are going on in entity framework, we will see in code first approach. Okay, so my humble request to you all that you just learn now like what are the steps to implement database first approach. When we learn like code first approach, at that time I will explain you each and every code, like what we are doing it there, what is that particular method which is performing like insert, update, delete, and get operation for us. Okay, so each and everything I will explain you. But now in this database first approach, you just understand that what are the steps are there and how you can implement this. Okay, and for database first approach, make sure that you should have an existing database with you. So to implement database first approach, compulsory you should have an existing database. Okay, so you can use same example with thought store procedure with store procedures. Okay, both the things you can take it. Okay, so now let's try to go with Visual Studio. So here you can see this. I'm already opened the Visual Studio. Now I'm going to go for add. Now I'm going to go for a new project. So here we are going to choose ASP.NET Web Application, where we can say like database approach. Okay, let me say like a DB first approach. Okay, so that's what I just want to give the name for it, database first approach. Now click on OK. Now make sure that you should check this checkbox and you can select this empty and you can go for OK. Now we are waiting like to create one project for us. Okay, this we are having this particular project. This is a project which is created for us. Now what is the first step? The first step, be attentive guys here. What is the first step here? You just need to click on right click on a model, go for add. Okay, and go for new item. Okay, now in this new item, you just need to go to the data. In this, you need to choose this AD.NET Entity Data Model. So when you click on this, you can choose here model name. Let me choose my model name as employee model. That's what I'm going to choose it and go for add. Now after this, there are some other options are there which you don't need to touch it. You need to see only the first one, entity framework designer from database. So what he's saying that create a model in a EF designer based on existing database. So the statement it's saying that based on existing database, he's going to create one designer window for you, EDMX file it's going to create for you. So from this option, you can choose your connection string, your model, and database object which you want to include in your model. That's mean that from this option, you can choose your connection string, you can choose your model class, your tables, whatever you want to choose it. Okay, and then this particular class of your application will interact with the generated model. Okay, so now go for next. Now here I need to go for a new connection. So I just want to use SQL Server, so I'm using here SQL Server. If you want to change the database, Oracle or some other things, you can go for it. The server name for me is, so for me the server name is Azam PCS Express. So which I can copy it from here and I can come here and I can paste here. Okay. Now this will enable for me to choose, this is server name and authentication is Windows authentication only I'm going to use it. If you have SQL Server authentication, give that SQL Server authentication. But I am going for Windows authentication here. Now go for like selecting the database, existing database. So based on that, we should add in our entity framework our models. Okay. So what exactly happened is if you are going to choose, so let me choose first this one employee database. Now go for like okay. Now go for next. Okay. What we got here? If you observe here, what we got here? We got here initial catalog as employee database, right? So this is a connection string is prepared for me, right? Server name is Asm PCS SQL Express. If you want to add this connection string in your web config file or not, that is your wish. If you click on if it is right mark here, then it is going to add in your web config file that. Go for next, go for next. And if it is there any foreign keys there, it is will be included for us. So, and here if you have like any tables which you want to include, there are a lot of tables other in the database. I will be happy to take employee details table. So this is what I'm going to choose it. Even I can go for choosing the store procedure also. Okay. That also I can choose it. So SP employees one store procedure I have it. Okay. Now go for like finish. So what will happen is going to add for me one table. Okay. Even I've added one table and store procedure also, right? Have you seen that? I hope you've seen, right? The steps are very easy, right? Steps are very easy. So now we are waiting like to create one EDMX window for us, right? Now you can see this, you got like employee detail table here. And these are the columns which exactly it is there in the table, in our database table. Okay. Even we have some data also in that. Now these are the steps if you have completed. And even if you go and check it here, the store procedure also you can see that spin underscore employee, right? Now after doing all these things, make sure that you should rebuild your application. Okay, rebuild your application. So if you don't rebuild it, then it is going to throw an error for you. Okay, what type of error? When you add an entity, it will tell you like to rebuild your application. That's what. Now if you come here, as I've created with the help of databases approach based on existing database, I got like whatever the table were there for me, right? So that table properties I got it here in our model class. If you go and check it here, see I got all these things created automatically. I didn't create anything this. So this is a good part like when you go for database first approach. That based on existing database, you're going to get this total like model class. So you don't need to create it. Previously, we used to write in our AD.NET all these things manually, but in our entity framework, everything is going to be created automatically here. Okay. Now, if you see this, one more thing which we need to understand here is this is our context class. So this is our context class where these are the code which you see it for our store procedure. Okay. So whenever you want to use any store procedure, like I want to use this SP underscore employee for getting the data, then I can go for this method in my controller, then it will be helpful for me, like to get the result. Now I'm not dealing with that. As of now, I want to deal without store procedure. Now you can see this is our employee entities. And this is a constructor, which is basically calling our connection string. If I hover in the base, you can see this DB context name or connection string. So here in the parameter, we need to give in double quotes connection string. So this employee entity is exactly going to call your web config file name. So in our web config file, if you go there, you'll find that employee entity is name there. So can you come down here? Yes, employee entities. There you have a connection string for this. Okay. So in that connection string, even you can see this, you have like some database table names and other stuff, data source, initial catalog employee, right? So that's what. So two things which you need to understand when you're going for database approach, you should have existing database. So based on existing database, it will create a model class for you and context class. So this context class is going to helpful for you to connecting to the database. And this is the line from line number 20 to line number 24, which you see. This is basically helpful for you to connect your database. And the line number 30, which you see it, this is going to be treated as a table. Okay. So this is nothing but a collection of employee entities. So as I already told you, like entity framework is basically an OR model, object relational mapping model, where it automatically map your C# class properties and your database columns. Both of them, they are going to map it. So if you come here, right click on this part, and when you say like mapping details, and when you click on this, you can see this is your database int varchar, and this is your C# int32 string. So are they not mapping with each other automatically? Yes, they are mapping it. So that's what I was saying is, so in your context class, they are going to map with each other. This DB set of employee details is nothing but our model class, right? This is model class. So where we have seen that ID, name, salary, all such type of things were there. So when we run our application dynamically, this database tables and our prop columns there, they are going to map with this particular employee detail class properties, and whatever the things are going to be matches, all the details as a table we are going to get in this one variable. Okay, in this one variable we are going to get it. So now all the steps we have done, right? So one of the good thing what we have understood here is, let me come here, that if you are going to use database first approach, so you are going to get, so what you are going to get here, model class plus you are going to get context class. Okay, if you're going to use database first approach, so you just need to specify, what you need to specify, the existing database you should have it, right? Right. So what we are saying, that we have model class plus context class. How we are going to get this? We are going to get this if we have an existing database, right? So you don't need to write any model class, you don't need to write any context class code. Everything is automatically generated. So your life is like very easy now, right? Now I will make more your life easy by showing one more thing. Now go for controller. We'll use this model class and context class now. Now we'll go for adding a controller. Now we have to choose here MVC5 controller with views using entity framework. This one we need to choose it. Now if I choose this one, what will happen is I will get create, read, update, delete, list entities. So all these things means I will get like a controller which is going to be generated for me. In that controller, methods are going to be generated for all the CRUD operation related, create, update, and delete. So all the code will be generated for me. Even views also is going to be generated for me. So it means that when I say like add here, and when I choose here model class, employee detail, when I'm going to choose a context class, employee entities, and yeah, I don't need to do anything now. I'll just say like add. Now let's see like what will happen. So scaffolding is trying to create the controller for me, views for me, right? A lot of things is going to be created. Now see here in our index method, this is our controller, employee details controller, where I got like index method, details method, create method, edit method, delete method. All this code is generated for me. Don't worry, all this code we will learn in our upcoming classes. But now you understand only the steps. Okay. In code first approach, I will explain you each and every part, not to worry about it. So now, what you're waiting for? Let's run our application then. Even okay, before going there, you will say like, sir, views. Yeah, views also generated. See, all the code of views, details, list, everything is generated here. Not to worry about it. You don't need to write any code now. All right. So let's run this. And when you run this, you should see. And if you have multiple project guys, make sure that that is to be selected. I have two projects. So I have selected this one, right? That's what. So we are waiting like our project to run here. Okay, until it come for me, I'll just write my controller name as employee details controller, and I will press enter here. Okay. So this is my employee details is my controller. By default, it will call index method. So it should populate the data for me here. Okay. Now you can see this slowly. I got some data here. Yeah, I don't always put like department ID and other stuff. Now you can see this. I have like name, salary. Okay, some of the places you find some details to be there. Yeah, that's good. We are able to show the information here. Now, for example, if I want to go for like create, I can go for create option. So create means it will create some record for me, right? So in that create, I will try to give some name as uh, Chan, salary as this, department ID is something, address something, mobile status created by some number. Yeah, mobiles number and mobile. Okay, that's good. Father name TT, location other. Go for create. Now let's see like whether it's going to be created or not. Now when you come down here, your RRTT came here, right? Chan. Oh, it's not with Chan, right? That is created for us. Now, for example, if I want to update anything, I want to update anything here. So let me click on edit, and I just say that I just want to uh, add here department ID, something one address, Kala Pathar, something like this, mobile something. Okay, all this stuff is good. Now let me go and click on save. Yeah, you can see this something is added here, right? Now you can see details. Now you can go back. You can even delete this. So let's say like delete. It's going to delete this. So everything is done in our database first approach. Okay. Don't worry at all, guys. I'm going to explain you each and every part, what is happening, what is this code, how it came in our code first approach. Okay. You just remember the steps, how we are doing it. That's it. Okay. That other things I will help you in that. Okay. And what about like store procedures related stuff? Even that also you don't need to worry about it. Okay. Let me show you because before ending the video, like even I will show you like the store procedure part also. So, yep. So I have like db dot, I have sp employee. So that is a method actually. Okay. And let me say like right click, go for add view for this because I need to change. I can have like this list, and this time I don't need to choose this. I need to choose this model class. Okay. Because the return type of it is nothing but sp underscore employee result class. So that's what I'm just going to click on add. I'm going to say okay. Okay. Make sure that when you are going to use this one, you should have a has no see. There is an error here when you're going to use a store position. What is saying that entity type employee detail has no key defined. The key for this entity type. Okay. So let's see like what is that. Okay. So let me go to this particular part. Before going there, I know like what I did a mistake. I will go for add view. So here once again we'll go for list only. We'll go for the store procedure model. This is model class actually that store procedure is using for us. We don't want this because we are not using the context class code for us. We are using only the store procedure. What is we are calling from here. So that's it. Just add a view here. So we are overriding that one. And now just go to the view. So this is what we need to change it here. I can even change here, like coming here, the different model, I can change it before also, but fine. Let's see, like now whether the store procedure is going to bring the things or not. So let's wait until it comes for us. Okay. You can see this, guys. You got some data. Okay. That is only three things we are taking from here, the store procedure. So it was bringing only ID, name, and salary. So that's why you got all these three things. Before, like we were trying to bring all the data. So that's why like some of the places you find like empty spaces. Okay. So fine guys, I will not make this video extend more. So we'll stop here. We'll see in tomorrow, like next video. Okay. Thank you.